wars before finally unified in 1590? Well, today I'm here to inform you of 4 important events that happened before, during, and after the unification of Japan, starting with the feudal era, then the 3 great unifiers, and then the events that happened during the unification, and the events that happened after the unification. Starting off with the feudal era, according to an article written by Mark Cartwright on June 28, 2019 on the World History Encyclopedia website, it was the feudal era, also known as the Sengoku period, or also known as the Warring States period, was a time when daimyo or warlords would fight over land and power very viciously, and would often lead to many, many wars. During this time, the land was also split into many different sections or clans or states. During this time, it would also be named after either the family that ruled over the land or the person who was currently ruling over the land. Some of the main people involved in the feudal era was Oda Nobunaga, Aki Mitsuhide, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Ishida Mitsunari, Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Takeda Senjin. Now that we've talked about the feudal era and the people involved in the feudal era, let's talk about the 3 great unifiers: Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. And according to an article written by Douglas Wagner on May 12, 2016 on the Denver Art Museum website, Oda Nobunaga was the ruler of the Owari province and was also known to be a very ruthless warrior. And he was also known to like Western technology and was one of the first warlords to actually use guns in Japan for their wars. He also didn't like the Buddhist monasteries or the warrior monks, and according to an article written by Arimichi Ibisawa on June 17, 2021 on the Encyclopedia Britannica website, he would often burn down their temples. Now Toyotomi Hideyoshi, he was the one who actually finished the job of unifying Japan, but first he had avenged Oda Nobunaga's death, and then he took over Oda Nobunaga's land and then finished the unification. And he was also known to be a very power-hungry person. Now, Tokugawa Ieyasu, he was the ruler of the Migawa province, and after Hideyoshi's death, he had fought the Hideyoshi's people in a war led by Ishida Mitsunari and to seize power. Now that we've talked about the 3 great unifiers, let's talk about the main events that happened during the unification of the Japan. Starting off with the Battle of Nagashino in 1570, it was against the Takeda clan and the Oda clan. And according to an article written by Stephen Turnbull on June 21st, 2021 on the Encyclopedia Britannica website, it was the Oda clan who won by killing Senjin Takeda's son, taking over the Takeda's clan after take over their land, and therefore claiming their land. The next battle is the Battle of Shikahara. It was against the Tokugawa people and the Hideyoshi people, and according to an article written by Miles Hudson on October 14th, 2020 on the Encyclopedia Britannica website, the people who won was the Tokugawa people. And some of the 2 main events that happened after that happened during the unification, starting off with Oda Nobunaga's death, and according to a website, to an article written by Arimichi Ibisawa on June 17, 2021, and on the Encyclopedia Britannica website, Oda Nobunaga had taken over half of Japan before he had finally died, and he had died in Hono Temple that was in Kyoto, Japan, and his alleged killer was Aki Mitsuhide, and he had betrayed him, which ended in his death. Now going to Hideyoshi's takeover, after he avenged Oda Nobunaga by killing Aki Mitsuhide, and according to an article written by Douglas Wagner on May 12, 2016 on the Denver Art Museum website, he was the one who finished the task of unifying Japan. Now that we've talked about the main events that happened during the unification of Japan, let's talk about what happened after the unification of Japan. Starting off with Hideyoshi, as I said before, he had a lust for power. Now after unification, Tokugawa Ieyasu had land still left over of his name. Hideyoshi went after him and his land, but it ended with a treaty, which led to peace, which Tokugawa kept his land and Hideyoshi kept to the land the rest of the Japan that he had claimed. But after that, he sent a campaign to fight over Korea. They went to Korea, fought in a battle, but however, Hideyoshi would not see the end of the battle. Whether he died from illness, from being over there, or the trip over there, or he died in battle, it was never specified, but he died before he could see the end result, which was that his troops were sent packing back to Japan. And according to an article written by Douglas Wagner on May 12, 2016 on the Denver Art Museum, as well as an article written by Mark Cartwright on June 28, 2019 on the World History Encyclopedia website, Ieyasu, who had fought the Battle of Shikahara, killed Hideyoshi's son after the War of Shikahara, or the Battle of Shikahara, and therefore he seized the rest. He seized Japan and had no more left of the Hideyoshi people to rise against him. And his people would rule for the next 250 years. I've informed you of the feudal era, the three great unifiers, the events that happened during the unification of Japan, and the events that happened after the unification. Arigato.